You're such an asshole.
Cappy Dynamite got the flu. I know I have my Ice Bear shirt on because Ice Bear is awesome. But I don't have the flu. I got a cold or a cough of some kind. All right. I've been meaning to talk about this for a while, but just haven't had time. And I got stuff. I had to this time. Cappy, why did you have to talk about it this time? So Cappy goes into town. Town is a ways away. I run my errands. And I'm not playing poker. I'm not going to the cigar lounge. I'm not doing that. I'm going to go right back home, get the work done, go to bed early like a good Cappy should. And I go to get gas. And out of a car, and I can't say which because it's a small enough town, people might even know who this is. And guys know what I'm talking about. Your eyes will identify a shapely female figure, or as Rush Limbaugh would say, figure, and immediately send to the brain like, hey, check that out, because you want to bang it. While that figure information is being sent to your brain like, your eyes, the very next photon of light that comes in provides the detail. And where it's like not as good as what the figure would indicate. And then it's like, or perhaps when you're far away from a woman, like, yeah, you get close, you're like, oh. Guys know what I'm talking about. So the second wave of photons that informed my brain of what I was looking at, I see this figure. I'm like, hey. And the second, when it fills in, no joke, it was like coloring a color book, like within the lines, all tattoos on one side, which I don't know. What's with the one side? Why one side? Why not some symmetry? No, she had it all on one side. I didn't get close enough to see if it was from her toe all the way to her pinky finger and up to the top of her head, but it was all one side. She had shorts and a short top on. And then she got into a car that I can't say what it is, but it would be the single mom car. It would be the trailer trash car. It would be the car that I've mentioned before, for those of you who are familiar with Cappy lore, Cappy canon. I had a girlfriend once who did not change her oil for 40,000 miles on a brand new car, one of these. I don't even think they make them anymore. You guys are guessing probably now. But she got into the trailer trash single mom mobile. And these are the ones that don't get the oil changed because Bipsy or Honeyboo, whatever this woman's name was. Who mean change oil? And then it's just like, and then it triggered me. They're like, oh yeah, that's right. You all think white people, we got to have more white people. We got to say we need we need to save America. And I'm here to tell you, white people ain't going to save America, let alone anyone else. Now, for those of you who have the slightest bit of empiricism, morality, and principles, you know it is not a group of people who's going to save, or destroy. It's going to be producers and parasites. That's what it is. But I wanted, just for those of you who think, oh, you got that color thing, you got those type of genetics or whatever. Oh, well, you have some kind of, I don't know what it would be, a genetic inclination to get a job and not spit out a bunch of half like related, half sibling crotch fruit. Ladies and gentlemen, sirs and madams, may I recommend you travel to Wyoming? And where you could go ahead and look at all the different sociological data that would indicate responsibility among different groups of people. Okay, fine, sure. Minorities might have a higher rate of single motherhood, broken families, whatever. I'm more worried, as you should be. Now, I don't have to worry that much because I ain't going to live more than 30 more years. So whatever happens after that could all go to shit. You should be more worried about the trend. And I'll give you just an example. Way back in the day, And maybe I got to. I'm good. I'm going to ballpark the statistics. Don't nitpick me or actually me if I'm wrong by a couple points, right? But the fact is, go back into the 1950s, the percentage of black youth or black children born out of wedlock, I think, was like 1 in 10. It was a distinct minority. Now it's 72z, 3z%, almost three quarters. White ladies back in the day, I think it was 2 or 3%. It was very much shamed upon. I don't think they had the data for the Asian demographic back then. Well, now, let's look it up. Let's just look it up. I think white women are at 40%. White kids born to single mothers. Percent of white babies born to single mother. 28%. Okay, there we go. All right. So going back to the white women in very, very short amount of time in the grand scheme of human evolution and human history, like a blip, right? In a generation and a half, 2 generations, maybe. Well, not only they caught up, they blew past what black women happen to have back in the day. And women, like when I set up the new records. You're splitting hairs about who's got what genetic material. Like we're all you're the last horse in line at the glue factory. When the Titanic sank and then it went up ass up end, you're the person on top of it. Well, at least we're up here. You're all going down. This is all of society. And that's that. It's not like that was a rare sight of some tatted up mom with her kid in tow. And it's not like, oh, that's a rare sight out here in South Dakota. You can go and they got a zoo. They have a zoo. They actually got 2 zoos in Rapid City. You could go to the 2 zoos in Rapid City. One's called the South Side Walmart. The other one's called the North Side Walmart. And you can see all the fascinating creatures of loserdom and welfare collection and tattoos and rascals. The majority, by the way, if you didn't know, South Dakota is predominantly white. But there's some minorities making some honorable mentions. They're putting up some good numbers, some good scores. And it's good. The good news is, I'll tell you some good news. I may see it in my lifetime where we will abandon, well, they'll never abandon identity politics. The Democrats once too critical to their playbook. Hate those people over there. I'll get their money for you. So that's never going to go away. But we're starting to see it, especially within the black male community and Latino male community, where you guys have had enough. You're like, I'm done with this poverty bullshit. And you started trying and think. We also have the internet to provide alternative explanations than the controlled media and the Democrat. Oh, it's always those people over there. I'm like, how about you major in engineering and join the military, get the GI Bill, and don't get no one pregnant? Also, now we got a bunch of minority dudes and white dudes and everyone else making lots of money saying, hey, I like this money stuff. And you could kind of see that more minority, younger, they're going, I hate to say Republican is the barometer, but that's true. They're starting to wake up a little bit. And what's inevitably going to happen is if we get too many stupid people, and it isn't even that they're stupid, just trash, non-working parasitic people. If the parasites outnumber the producers, we're all effed. And it's already kind of happening. I mean, how long do you got to wait to get some car repairs? You can't get your houses repaired. What houses can be built? Like everyone you run in, things are more expensive. Well, that's predominantly because we printed off more money, but there's less competent people. There's less people producing stuff. Have you do you remember the 90s? Do you guys, a lot of you Zoomers and Zillennials types, you fondly remember the 90s? Do you remember how you could go into a restaurant and in a reasonable amount of time be seated, get some food, and the food was 98% what you ordered? How's that working now? Are the restaurants even open that much? You're already starting. Yes, there is inflation because we printed off more money. There is also inflation because we're producing less and lower quality stuff that doesn't last as long. So you need to spend more money that's why your prices are also going up. That's what I'd worry about. If we just printed off money every year and equally distributed the money to everyone, but we also produced 5% more stuff, like our actual economy grew by 5%, there'd be inflation, but we'd all be better off because we're 5% richer because it's the stuff we make. We're not producing that much stuff. Unless you want a bunch of Karens and Beckys giving you a diversity and inclusion seminar shoved up your. We got plenty of that. We got plenty of sociology majors writing books about how unfair things are. Oh my God, I can't believe it's inflation. It's like there's this thing called I can't believe it's not buttered. I can't believe it's more inflation. But it's going to get to the point like you can't fix your car. And it won't matter what your skin color is. It's going to be Jessup, but you're going to take your car in. This has happened. Let me tell you a story. Gather round, kids. Uncle Gappy's going to tell you a story. I needed new gaskets put on my car all over because the car is old. And it's not the mileage, they just wear out. 20-year-old truck. Okay. So they got to put all the new gaskets on. I'm not that good of a mechanic, but they had to remove the transmission from the engine because there's a gasket between the two. So to lift it, they lift up the engine and they put some cedar blocks of wood in the engine. Aaron, how did you know it was cedar? Well, let me tell you the story, young ladies and gentlemen. I'm driving my truck. Everything's going fine. I'm like, oh, someone's having a campfire. I could smell some cedar wood burning. And I'm driving. I'm like, either a lot of people are having a campfire or there's a forest fire and it's only burning cedar, which in the Black Hills is mostly pine. I'm like, this is weird. So then I start seeing smoke coming out of the hood of my truck. Naturally, I pull over and I'm like confused because I swear I smell a campfire. Pop and smoke coming out, and there's like what I thought at first was asbestos or some kind of like ceramic, uh, uh, what's it called? Insulation, like that pink insulation, but it was white. And I'm looking close. I'm like, those are embers. And I grab in at the end, making sure, and I put. It's a piece of wood. They forgot to take the piece of wood out of the engine bay and left it there, so it slowly burned up against the engine. White mechanics, by the way. So you're going to go and try and get some kind of mechanic. Let's say you're lucky enough to get mechanic. They're going to leave a chunk of wood in your engine block. And you're not going to care who or what or who did they lick Ocasio-Cortez's hoo-ha. You're not going to care about that because in my case, I was lucky. It didn't get into the fan belt or nothing. You might not be so lucky. And you get to spend a whole day with a tow truck and arguing with the idiots over at the mechanic shop, regardless of what race they are. And everyone's standard of living is going to go to shit. And so this idea that one group of people or another group of people, I know the Democrats have forced this lens on you that you must view everything as a trait, whether that trait is your race or your gender or your sexual preference or your mental illness or mental whatever. That is not the case. It's going to come down to crunch time that it's going to be two people. Only two people are going to matter, whether you're a producer or a parasite. Because the cost is just going to be too damn big. And I wish China would just cut us off. I wish we just didn't have stuff coming from China. So we actually had to make our own shit. Because then everybody would grow up really fucking quick. And it wouldn't be this like, I have a master's degree. Oh my God, do you have an MBA? I am a quadriplegic trans presenting black female lesbian. Oh my God. I'm sorry. That's from Jay and Silent Bob. And I don't mean to come up with that originally on my own. Because licking female, black, transgender, wheelchair ridden vagina is going to take a backseat to where the hell is a gallon of gas? And I don't know if I'm going to see it in my lifetime. We're going there. The day is coming where no one's going to give a crap about what your teachers told you to value the most about you. They are not going to give a shit. Whatever preconceived notions of people in the past doing whatever GDP work or being more, that's going to it's going to be, where's the freaking food? Where's the freaking electricity? And if you are like, well, the Asians, they're really smart. They'll take care of it. No, no. There's too much free money running around. We got too many foreign people making our doodads and everything overseas that cost. They were just like, we got the world's reserve currency. When that all goes away, no one's going to give a damn that you like sucking dick. All right? No one's going to care. Target won't have the money to afford the paint to make rainbow flags. And most of the gay community, they're going to be like, yeah, you know what? Right now, I just really settle for a nice sweater this cold January instead of like some cartoonishly large poster of a gay pride flag. And we might, and I'd be happy with that. That'd be kind of cool. Like, oh, look, everybody learn to be adults again and stop looking at themselves in the mirror. But you got just, okay, obviously, I do not recommend living in Wyoming. And I admit, South Dakota, God, don't move to Nebraska. Oh my God, those people are so slow. Oh God, I've had a new, like, Wisconsiners hate Illinois drivers and vice versa. The Nebraska is our Illinois. I don't know how that, oh, they're so stupid down there. All right. But you should come out to the bum, 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 just to see it. Go look at an actual trailer park. Okay, go to Casper, Wyoming, and look at it. And like, oh crap. Oh crap. And whenever you do, don't have any car repairs because you're gonna have to do it yourself. So there you go. So link below, 2 books. 1, Enjoy the Decline, Accepting Living with the Death of the United States. All right. And then 2, Curse of a High IQ. Because that's why I was going to say, I don't think it's IQ. It's effective IQ versus potential IQ. Like, anyone sits down and studies and works hard, and if you drill at math, you can increase your score on an IQ test. But if you're too busy getting railed by Jessup the bum and getting more tattoos on your arms while you spit out a bunch of half-sibling kids, you might have the potential for 125 IQ, but no, you're going to drive your single mom mobile, go strip, do some drugs, and then you're like, and your IQ is going to come in at night. So I don't think it's IQ, but stupid people in general. Are you sick of the stupid people, whether they have the potential for intelligence or not? I cannot recommend enough. You get the book link below called Curse of the High IQ. I guess in hindsight, maybe I would write Curse of the Responsible People Who Got freaking jobs. But I guess we'll just have to rely on Curse of the High IQ. Oh, I got to go through the super chats that were missed by the guys. All right. Big Shell, $5. Cappy being an a-hole, no surprise. You can't be an analyst without spelling anal. That shirt of yours reminds me of White Bear. Reminds you of White. No, this is Ice Bear. From the cartoons We Bear Bears. You ever see it? One of the best cartoons out there. Oh, I forgot his name. It's not Herschel. It's something else. Drakon? 15 Israeli shekels. Another like a diversity and inclusion class to end the cold and hunger. I can't wait. Here, I see into the future. I see 25 years from now, when the electricity is on rolling brownouts and there's no money, all the women with their diversity inclusion degrees will learn the art of sucking a dick. I see it now, but no one will pay for it because they're so ugly. I have spoken. Chris is not here. $5 a great one. Would enjoy this topic. Imagine having a wood block in your edge and laughing out loud. That's fine. See, and here's where Great One I disagree maybe a little bit, though maybe he's coming around. He might argue differently, but having lived in Fort Collins and most of the problem, I gotta ask, I said, did not most of your problems come from white people? Huh? They did, didn't they? Most of the homeless people in Fort Collins, right? The ones that graduate from college, can't afford the debt they live. What color were they again? I'm sure you go to a different neighborhood, it's different. All I'm saying is like, maybe this is really good news. We're this close to the nightmare ending that it's the color of your skin and not your content or character. Content or character will make a comeback because it has to. It has to. Like, think about, let me paint another silver lining on top of the one I already painted. Similar to being so delusional that somehow traits you were, assuming you're not mentally impaired or physically impaired, that somehow traits you were born with determines your outcome. All right. Therefore, why work at it? The same logic applies here, or the debunking of that logic, where women like, well, big is beautiful because men have just been socially conditioned. It will, if it gets bad enough, women will start to realize, oh crap, I need a guy around. We need to start teaming up. I need to like find a guy who could fix a car. And the red pill, I think, is doing a pretty good job of educating men about holding to standards now. I'm like, no, I'm not dealing with that. I think if things might get bad enough, girls are going to knock it off with the purple hair and the nose rings and one side tattoo, walking in a circle because they're off kilter. It might. When reality comes a knocking, if it knocks hard enough, women might get thin again. Just saying, there's going to be an upside. MK Solid 82, $5. Just go to Target or Walmart, and it's a third world country. The whites are lazy and tired, while the foreign masses are just taking over everything. What's the difference? Look, who's productive? Go to the people. Go to the people of Walmart. Go look. It's mostly, admittedly down in the South or maybe even Wyoming. All right. But it's mostly fat white people. Just telling you. It ain't going to be none of those people saying, trust me, it's going to be team producer versus team parasite, as it's kind of always been. That faded Asian, $20. I generally agree with you, but my question is why the welfare system is designed to be a trap. Well, that's because it enables Democrats to get elected. Look, giving away free money is a very popular thing. And if you're a lazy sack of shit, you don't want to work for a living, right? And you're connected, you can go and become a Democrat or a socialist or a Labor Party or whatever other countries call their parasite political party. Oh my goodness, those people over there with the trait that you don't have, and the ultimate trait that most people don't have is wealth. They totally unbenefited fairly because you have the reasons. Because we're democracy, I'm going to go and take their money from them and give them to you. And I don't think it's designed to be a trap. I just think it's lazy people who don't want to work and want to be popular, playing off of humans' innate nature to be lazy. But what people don't realize is getting by and surviving on government cheese and housing and all that, that's not living. And that ends up becoming the trap that people are in. And so they're kept alive only to suffer, essentially. Like, no one has a great life in government housing. No one has a great life that's begging for a student loan bailout if they got $36,000 on average in student loans instead of getting a job. Like, to be dependent generally means a miserable life. And so I don't think it's designed to be a trap. It just ends up becoming that way because you never get the work ethic chops to go and support yourself because it's always just too easy to go and live to the next month to get your welfare check. It's hard to get off welfare because if you cross the magic line, you have a net loss of income for producing more instead of weaning. Yep. Yep. I didn't vote for this system. I voted against that system. And it's going to ruin the West. It will. It will ruin ruin Russia, ruin any communist country. All right, there you go. Just wanted to share. More on the way. See you guys later. Toodles.